Leadership is fast becoming a topic that is gathering global attention. And it's not really like it's like now. It's been like a problem, especially African leadership. It's not like we just started having that problem, right? It's something that we have been having. But in recent times, we have seen that there's a greater need to talk about it, right? And we have people standing up, organizations standing up to ensure that we discuss these things. We have a mindset, a consciousness of raising leaders. And that's why there's TFI. And I have Olamide with me here to discuss what TFI does, who we are, and how it contains and how it helps Africa in leadership. Hi Olamide, how you doing?
Hello, Enzar, I'm fine.
All right, so good to see you. So what's TFI, first of all?
Okay, so TFI, that's the fourth Institute for Leadership Development.
Okay.
So it's an African-led organization. It started in 2020, right? And the idea then was to stand in gap. So obviously, the history of NGOs has always been about standing in gap. There are spaces where private sector, public sector, the government cannot operate in. And so NGOs come up and they
Okay.
operate in that
Yeah,
space.
sure.
So for the Fourth Institute, the vision was that, usually when we talk about Africa, you look at it from a standpoint of we have a lot of problems. All continents have problems. That's the truth, right? So, but our own unique experience with colonialism, our cultural differences,
Yes.
and our history, because you can't compare African history with European history. That's why it looks like they are more united in terms of their value system, system of governance, and all of that. But for Africa, it's different. That's why we have a lot of things that are coming up, but so far we've not been able to cooperate because we have different cultural systems.
Yeah, there's a cohesion problem.
You understand? So, and usually when people talk about, in the past, people have this urge like blame outsiders for Africa's problem. You understand? You talk about the colonialists, they cheated us, or they disrupted our development.
Yes.
Or after independence,
they didn't go back to their country.
Global institutions and all of that. You understand? So we have somebody to blame. But I think now we realize that there are other nations that gain independence, that share some of the experiences with us in other continents, and they are doing well. So the question now is it colonialism? Is it interference from the powers that be in the global world system now? And then we are realizing that while those things might play a factor in what is going on with Africa at the moment, it still boils down to the fact that our own leaders are not doing what they ought to do.
Sure.
And beyond that, it also leads me to another issue we're trying to address at TFI. I'm saying all this so I can explain to you how TFI came to be. Do you understand? So it also brings us to another concept of where people assume that leadership is an exclusive preserve of a group of people.
Okay.
Because it's very important that if you're going to have conversations around leadership, you even understand what leadership is about. So I want to mention leadership. We're on the same page. You have the same picture with me. You understand? So we have that scenario where people believe that leadership is a preserve of certain categories of persons. And to a very large extent, before colonialism and independence, the majority of African societies were governed by monarchies.
Yes, true.
Yes, and so authority streams from one person and then it's delegated to other people. But one person is ultimately in charge. Yes, and you have kings that are seen as second only to the gods.
Exactly.
You understand? So after democracy, we still have that same idea, but covered in democracy. So it's that same leadership concept that leadership is about strength of the individual instead of the system. So that's an issue. So everybody feels like there are certain people that are capable of leadership and other people are just supposed to follow. But that's not true. And
so everybody can lead.
Everybody can lead. Now, the thing is this. When it comes to leadership, when you say something like everybody can lead, it is not let me put it this way. Let me use an analogy for you. Everybody can vote, but not
Okay.
everybody should vote.
Okay. Would you explain that?
Okay,
I
now
don't get
let
that.
me put it this way. For example, we talk about the constitutional right to vote and be voted for.
Yes, yes.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
But not everybody has what it takes to contest for a governorship, or
Yeah, yeah,
even though
yeah.
you have that constitutional right to actually do that.
To vote, yeah, there are
But
requirements.
we know people that should not.
Sure, sure.
That's simply leadership. So now, that's why I said we have to explain what leadership is about first. So that when we're having a conversation around leadership, we understand what we're talking about. So when I say everybody can lead, it is not that everybody will be in front. It means that everybody is playing their part. You're not saying it's the fault of the president or the fault of the governor or you understand that kind of
Oh,
stuff.
that's
So,
brilliant.
so you talk about within the leadership process, you have the leader, leader.
Yeah.
You have the follower leader. Do you understand? So it does not mean that just because this person is at the top making decisions or leading the group, that means you within the system don't have anything to do.
I think that's the thing with Africans.
Do you understand? So when it comes to defining leadership, we have different definition of leadership. I don't bother myself defining it according to this person or that person.
Yeah.
I just believe that leadership is about responsibility and accountability.
Wow, sound.
So
sound.
you have responsibility to yourself,
Yeah.
for yourself, to the people around you, and accountability to people around you.
Yeah, yeah.
So which means that you are responsible for your own self. At that level, that's individual leadership, self-leadership.
Okay.
You're responsible for your own personal development. Growing yourself, growing your value system. Do you understand? So then you're also responsible for other people around you. So if, for example, as a leader, and I mentioned earlier that leadership is not about the position you're holding. So I need everybody to understand that when I talk about leadership, I'm not talking about you being at the top. I'm talking about you as an individual, wherever you are.
Yeah.
So you are responsible. Imagine, for example, I'm running an organization and I have other people in the team. I can't be everywhere.
True.
Do you understand? I can't be everywhere. So the receptionist has a role to play in the success of the organization. That no matter how much strategy I come up with at the top, if that person, the first contact with the potential client, is not behaving well, it can destroy everything.
True.
So she's the leader.
All right. So judging from a couple of explanations that you made, and it really made sense to me. So does it mean that when we're talking leadership now, we're not talking politics, right?
No, it's not just about politics. Politics is just an aspect of it.
So meaning that if I have a firm or that market woman that's on the road, she also is supposed to lead wherever she is.
Exactly.
Meaning that she owes it to herself to come to shop on time.
No, that is business. That's not leadership. That's
So
you
there's no
running your
leadership
business.
in business.
No, the leader. Now that is sole proprietor. Do you understand? Now, what would have been leadership is that person playing a part in, for example, keeping the environment clean.
No, but you know that, if she comes late, let's say a child is going to school and needs to get something from her before he gets to school. Say he wants to buy pencil or buy biro before I get to school. And because she's not in school, because she's not at work at that time, you can disrupt the entire cycle. Because this child begins to go to school late, or this child decides to go to school late that day, then somehow he misses class. I don't know if you see what I'm saying.
Okay, I think I get what you're trying to say. Now, that is why I spoke about responsibility for yourself
Yeah.
and accountability to other people. If that person is always at the space, let's say 8 a.m. every time,
Yes.
and you already know that, okay, she's supposed to be at 8 a.m. Now, while we know that it is her business to run the way she deems fit, she also has a responsibility to ensure that the people that are counting on her
Exactly.
are not going to be disappointed just because she decided that
Disappointed.
today I'm not going to turn up.
And really, I feel like that's one major problem that, as it were, we have in Africa. And I'm really glad that, as it were, TFI is not political in scope, because half the time, the problem is not even, okay, yeah, we have not really so good leaders, right? But I feel like the problem even comes from the mindset of, because the president is not doing this, then I'm not going to do it. I'm not really the president. I'm not the governor. Then, so it's not really my problem. Meaning, oh, I see a pothole on the road. I can't even common, don't throw litter on the floor.
Yeah.
Oh, what's the name of this state management, state waste management will carry it. Like sometimes it's there's a way it makes me feel personally as a person. Like if you don't have a governor, if you were like the head of your own family, how you supposed to rule? Okay, now that you're even saying that leadership is not based on position, and which is beautiful, there's individual leadership, meaning that TFI is out to raise people that can lead themselves first
Yeah.
before leading other people, right? So I like the fact that we have that mindset. But what would you say is the problem, or what would you say? Okay, maybe not the problem now because we have highlighted that. What would you say TFI is doing as regards solution on reorienting people on understanding that leadership is not just positional. Wherever you are leading where you are. What would you say TFI is doing as touching that?
I think that even the core vision of the Port Institute is geared towards exactly what you just said, which is about activating young people at the individual level to play their role in the system. Do you understand? So, for the Fourth Institute, they have a lot of programs. For example, there is the leadership development course.
Okay.
So, leadership development course is like a class, it's a classroom setting. Although it's virtual for now, the classroom setting. So, you have people from across the continent and even across the world, Africans from across the world, coming in to learn different subjects, right? And
Leadership.
the driving force there is we want people to understand that they have a role to play in any development that will occur on this continent. It is no longer about what the president is doing or not doing. It's just one man. I mean, if you look at it, for example, a lot of people always come back to politics because politics affects every area of our life.
Directly. Or
Directly. It affects your life. So the policy that somebody makes in Abuja, for example, will touch you anywhere you are in Ibadan.
Sure.
That's why it feels like people define leadership within the scope of politics.
But low-key, I feel like, okay, now this, sorry to interrupt at that point. Low-key, I feel like we have that mindset. Okay, maybe not we. Like the older generation believes that, oh, once I can, I don't want to involve myself in politics. I mean, there's this religious sect that really does not believe that, you involve yourself in politics. Why? Because you don't want to be a part of the world. Right? So how do you explain to that kind of person that whatever policies that we make, if it's somebody that is not, as it were, sound in leadership, it will affect you regardless of how rich you think you are and all that. How do you explain to that person that, see, you have to be a leader, you have to involve yourself in leadership directly or indirectly?
Okay. You made a statement. Nobody can avoid politics. If there are more than one person in a particular space, there's politics going there.
Yes.
Because politics is about interest.
Mm-hmm.
And human beings have interest.
Mm-hmm.
So within your family, there is interest.
Yes.
In your neighborhood, there is interest. In local government, there is interest. So you are involved in politics whether you like it or not. Now, it's not about whether you choose to be active or passive about the process. But you are going to be involved. You don't have a choice.
Okay.
Do you understand? And also, politics is different from governance. And governance is different from leadership. But they're tied together. Do you understand? So now, politics is everything you see that makes you feel like, oh, I don't want to be involved, let them go and vote. And you understand?
Yes.
So, but like I said earlier on, politics affects everything that we do. Now, usually, politics is usually that process of negotiating interest. Do you understand? We negotiate our interest. Oh, I want somebody that is prioritizing this over this. And then you make a compromise. Do you understand? That's politics. Governance is you move beyond interest to actually trying to achieve the goals that stem from those interests
Yeah.
decided by the politics of it.
Yes.
The leadership is you influencing the resources, the people. Do you understand? So leadership is about you being able to influence the people, the resources that you need to achieve those goals that you set for yourself in order to govern a particular space based on the interest determined by the politics of it.
Oh, okay.
So for example, let me use Nigeria for example. then political leaders can decide that, okay, I want to build this, I want to build that, so that because my voters or supporters are interested in this.
Yeah.
That's why we have campaigns. People talk about what I plan to do, and you vote based on what is
Works
important
with
to you,
you. Yes.
and that's fine. That's politics. Do you understand? Then governance is now, okay, you won the election. Now do what you voted you in to do. That is governance.
Yeah.
The leadership is how you are doing what you voted you to do. How you are able to inspire people, motivate them, influence them, move them from point A to point B. That's leadership for you. You understand? And so, to answer that question of how we are trying to help people understand that leadership is not just for people that are voted into a particular position or are at the top of any organization or whatsoever. And that's why we have our programs. We have now the programs we have currently. The first one, the leadership development courses, they focus on individual lessons. You come in to the institute and then you learn different parts of leadership, inclusive leadership, gender leadership, leadership itself, leadership in Africa, and a lot of other modules like that. So you come around, you are learning these things. So what we're trying to do with that is to reshape the mindset, the thought process, the idea, the exposure that they have at the foundational level. Before you do another thing, you have to first address the mindset. That's what leadership development course are about. But we also realize that it might not be easy to capture as many people as we want to in the leadership development courses. Because of, in the university system, we don't have enough space.
Yeah.
So we don't have enough space to capture everybody. So we have the BOAT programs. Now the BOAT program is, it stands for Building Outstanding Leadership and Teams.
That's BOT.
BOLT.
BOLT.
Yeah, BOAT.
Okay.
Building Outstanding Leaders and Teams.
Okay.
So what we do there is we go outside. Yes, sir. We partner with organizations, we partner with institutions, with schools, with communities. So we come there and then we, should I say, evangelize the gospel of leadership to people.
So.
Yes, sir. Because leadership cannot operate in isolation.
Yeah.
If you are raising, if for example, we are raising good leaders, sound leaders in the leadership development courses, and then they are going to operate in the middle of people that don't know anything about leadership or don't understand leadership, they'll be ineffective.
Yeah.
That's why, for example, I talk about the fact that when it comes to politics, that constitutional guaranteed right of being the right to vote and be voted for should actually come with the responsibility of the government to actually offer political education to people. Because the way you vote, now I have rights guaranteed by the Constitution, right to life, to freedom of expression and all of that.
Yeah.
But if people are voting the wrong way, their choices, because democracy is about majority carrying the vote, so to speak, right? But you have to also cater for the interest of the minority. So if we are not educating people that are given that right to vote or voted for, we're not educating them enough to understand the consequences of their choices, then the government is actually also, in a way, infringing on our own constitutional protected rights. Because you are giving people the right to vote, to choose leaders, that what decision is going to affect my life. So if I vote for somebody else that I think is a better leader, another person is voting for somebody else that I think is a better leader, based on, let's say, their ignorance or their understanding of what leadership is about. Do you understand? They vote for someone that way. That choice they are making is affecting my life.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So I think that with that right should come education.
Yes.
On how to exercise that right in a way that does not at least directly infringe on my own rights. For example, your right to freedom of speech comes with responsibility to speak very well.
Yes.
So you're not just spewing
Speech.
you understand, or accusing me of things that I did not do. You have a right to speak, but you have a responsibility to speak in a responsible manner.
Yes.
So the same thing should apply to the right to vote.
So does that mean that at TFI now, this BOLT also involves voter education as well? Like when it comes to the election period.
We're not actually focusing on voter education. We're not living ourselves politics. We're trying to help people understand leadership itself. So that when you are voting or when you are making political decisions, or everyday decisions for your life, you have the knowledge to choose. For example, since you're bringing the politics, let me bring politics. People understand that better. Some people pick their leaders based on looks.
In this
They
Nigeria.
believe that a leader should look good.
Which, okay.
There are people that pick their leader based on eloquence, the way they speak. Oh, he knows that to use the right words, he communicates in
You
a
know, I
particular
have a
manner.
lot of things to say in that
Yeah.
area. But I will
There are some
just
people
let
that
it go.
they pick their leaders based on how strong they are in terms of the ability to display or to use authority, whether by force, but in a manner that is strong. So, for example, I feel like a leader should be able to make decisions without caring.
I'm not in the military again.
That's what I'm saying. That people have different
Yeah,
definitions
different
of what leadership is
reasons
about.
why
So,
they
what we are
vote.
trying to do is to ensure that, as much as we are trying to raise leaders, we are ensuring that the space for those leaders to operate is conducive to good leadership.
If I get you right now, I want to describe it in a way I understand now. It's like a cycle, right? Meaning that the leader and the led, in
Yeah.
quotes. So meaning that the leaders are informed, you are informing the leaders, and you are also informing the seeming led, so that it is easier for them to understand what they are being led into, right? Meaning that there's
So that they can understand the both initiative
yeah,
is about ensuring that the follower leaders,
yes,
don't forget I said anybody can lead.
yes.
So the follower leaders, they understand that this is what leadership is truly,
Okay.
and they understand their own place
In it.
in the leadership process.
Okay.
For example, let me use Nigeria. We have people that have given up on the system. They feel like I'm not going to vote. It's their call. They're not going to vote for whoever they want to vote for.
Yes.
And some people are going to vote, and they're going to make decisions that will affect your life.
Yes.
Do you
Yes.
understand? And there are people that also genuinely vote because they think that this is what leadership is about. You know, it's a cultural thing. Do you understand? It's a cultural thing. And if, for example, and let me give an example. I'm a Yoruba person.
Yeah.
Now, when we want to greet people, you have to like prostrate or kneel down.
Or you bow.
Yeah, that's a show of respect. For another culture, they might not greet in that way. So if someone from another culture is coming to show you respect, they might show you respect by stretching their hand.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes.
But for that other person,
You
because
think it's
they're in a space where respect is shown by prostrating and kneeling down and all of that, do you understand? That action, even though in another culture it is respectful, but within that space, it is abnormal
Yeah.
or disrespectful.
Yeah.
That's the same way it works. So if you are bringing good leadership into a space that don't understand what leadership is about,
Wow.
it is going to be ineffective.
Yeah.
So while we are developing leaders through the leadership development courses, we are going out there. It's just like, let me use the church. You have people coming to church for discipleship, but we still go out there to do evangelism. Because we know that, okay, yeah, there are people out there that even if, for example, if I'm a good person and the system is bad,
Toxic.
two things are going to happen. Either they immobilize me or I join them. That will tell you can't beat them, you join them. That's the problem. So we're trying to make sure that as we are bringing out those good leaders, people that have better understanding of leadership into society, you understand? The people that they are meeting there, they understand what they're coming to do.
Yes.
So they don't go against them.
And they don't, and those leaders don't get frustrated.
For example, I don't want to mention places. We have instances where we talk about communities that people want to come and do things for them. They want to come and develop the space. And then the people there are sort of like enemies of progress. They demand a lot of things that makes people that are coming to do good for them leave them alone. Because they have a different idea of. So if you those kind of persons, you have to be able to educate them so that they are able to receive what is coming to them. We will continue to make bad political choices in Africa generally because of our understanding of what leadership is about, or even our understanding of what politics is about. Do you understand? So somebody can say, "Oh, I like this person is a good leader because he knows how to play political tricks." That's their own definition of it. Do you understand? Oh, this person looks too soft, can't be a good leader.
But don't you think that okay, now this is just a question to you.
Okay.
Don't you think that leadership is supposed to alter the way your personality is slightly? I mean, leadership is supposed to alter your personality in such a way that if you were, excuse my word now, being a CC before, you you're supposed to develop some spine, right? Because you're talking about you somebody looks too soft. I think I'm of that opinion too. You can't be. There's a way I can look at a person. I'm like, you're too soft for leadership. You don't look like, I don't know. Maybe I'm being judgmental, but you don't look like a leader to
I
me.
think that also boils down to stereotypes of leadership.
Okay,
And it's also a cultural thing.
it is.
Yes, it is the culture you are brought up in. It shapes your idea of leadership. So, for example, to a very large extent, in Africa, a leader is a strong man. We don't believe in strong institutions.
It
We want
doesn't have
strong
to be.
men.
It doesn't have to be
When I say strong men, I'm not talking about the way they look.
physical. Exactly. It doesn't have to be.
I'm talking
physical.
about the way they make decisions.
Yes, be fair.
Being firm, it has different connotations, it has different meanings.
Isn't it supposed to be fair?
It has no. You're supposed to be firm as a leader, but you're not getting it. There's a difference between being firm. Do you understand?
Okay.
Being strong, you are displaying strength,
Yes.
and then moving towards. Don't forget that leadership is about influence.
Yes.
Influence does not always require strength.
Yes, yes.
You don't have to be forceful about it. I
True.
can inspire you to make certain decisions for yourself.
Mhm.
Do you understand? I can influence you. That's why leadership starts at the individual level. My personality, inspiring you. Do you understand?
Yeah.
To
Do your thing.
certain things.
Yes.
So, for example, the various political camps we have in Nigeria, for example, they are inspired by the personality of the leader. The people that are following the current president, they are inspired by his personality. People that are following the obedient, they are inspired by personality of that candidate.
Yeah.
Different ideas. Do you
And
understand?
somehow beneath everything is still culture.
It's culture. It's cultural. Because now, I told you earlier on that for the average person in this part of the world, we believe in that kind of kingly leader.
Wow.
Someone that holds and wields authority individually as a single person and disseminates by choice. Do you understand? And it happens that that situation continues to exist because even the people agree that that's how leadership should be.
We
Do you
have a
understand?
long way to go.
Exactly. And that's why we're going out there to like help people understand that this is what leadership is, this is what leadership is not. For example, even on campus, if you talk about future leaders, and you see them also adopting the same leadership styles of current leaders. Do you understand?
Yes.
It's a culture.
Yes.
Culture
Yes.
is a way of life. That's what it is. Not something deep. It's a way of life. How you perceive things, how you operate, how you behave. That's culture. And it stems from an ideology. Do you understand? So if, for example, we are operating a democracy and somebody thinks that, oh, the only person that can change this country is somebody that is wicked. And that was what we call for military rule. Because they feel like what we need is someone that is strong and can just
Let me ask
lock
you a
anybody up at any time.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think Nigeria really needs democracy?
Do you think Nigeria needs what?
Democracy.
For all the flaws of democracy, see the best system of government.
In Nigeria.
Yes.
Are you
Anywhere
sure?
in the world. For all the flaws that democracy has, it's still the best system of governance.
Because you know there are some times that
the reason why it does not work
yes.
and why you're asking that question
Exactly.
is because, for example, let me give you an example. During the last election in the US, I was following the news and I realized that the only reason why the current president
It's
there
president.
did not manage to overthrow the election was because the people around him did not agree.
Interesting.
Because even though he wants to act as a strong man, like the leaders of other countries that you are seeing that inspires him, the people around him understand that you cannot behave like this.
Yeah.
So in this part of the world, people behave the way they behave because the rest of us agree or accept that they can behave that way. Do you understand?
Yes.
For example, I'm always surprised when I read the newspaper and then I'm seeing somebody doing something and then we're reading that, oh, the president instructs the IG to do something. I'm like, the IG should know that he's supposed to do this. You don't have to wait for a guy at the top to tell you.
And it's not even supposed to enter the newspaper. What are we reading about?
It always comes out like that. And that's because, and that's why I talk about responsibility. You don't have to wait. As a leader, if everybody understands that they have a part to play in leadership, that you are part of the system, you would understand that, sometimes, most of the things that we blame the president for, It's not his fault.
Half the time.
It's because, for example, the president is not on the expressway collecting 15 naira from you. Yes. The body language of the president can influence change because of the kind of office that he holds and the power that is approved by office. It can influence change. Do you understand? But in the long run, you cannot sustain change by the force of the individual.
Yes.
You influence change by the force of the collective. We together are agreeing that this is wrong. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. So, for example, if I have a police force of 400,000 people, and the president can say, okay, you know what, from now on henceforth, no more roadblock, and that's it. And then for the next 1 month, no roadblock. 2 months after,
that mounted it again.
It is not the president's fault. The president has a lot of things like dealing with. Nigeria, for example, now, the current president is reforming the country in a lot of ways.
It is.
And the reason why some of us are not feeling the reforms is because the people at the middle level, the governors, they are not doing as much as the president. And so, but because we believe that it is that one man that is responsible, we focus on the president. We leave the other 36 mid-level managers, so to speak. We leave them alone. We leave the 704 chairman. We leave them alone. We focus on that one man. Because we believe that it is the king that is responsible for everything.
Oh, I see.
It's the president not responsible for you jumping queue.
Sure. Now I see it. Now it makes sense. Now it makes so much sense because this is not even maybe an apologetic for the president and all that, but I know that he's doing a lot.
Yes.
But somehow you see that some states are developing while there are some others that are not even smelling development and all of that. So I think now that answers the question. Now it makes sense because it's a mindset really. It's a mindset of somebody's the president. And that's why we celebrate the presidential elections more than even state government election, more than even local government.
They don't even pay attention to it.
They don't even care.
The last election, there were a lot of people that won the election to the legislative council on the force of one man. LP, top to bottom. So nobody was sitting down to say, oh, is this person qualified to be in the National Assembly? If it's Labour Party.
But
the force of that one man.
Wow.
So eventually, a lot of people got into National Assembly that were not supposed to be there.
True.
Because we wanted to vote on the personality or the force, the charisma, the integrity of one man. That is the problem. Do you understand? It should not be about one person. Leadership is never about one person. So, some of the things I'm trying to address is just help people to understand what leadership is about.
Okay.
And differentiate it from politics. Because if you understand what leadership is about, you're able to bring that knowledge, bring that understanding into your political decisions, into your economic decisions, even the way you run your family, the way you do your friendship. Do you understand?
Yes.
Because you look at it now and then you realize that, and that's what TFI is trying to address. That you look at the current generation and you realize that they are looking more and more like the leaders who are trying to avoid today. And you can't just sit down and say, oh, they're going to do better. People do better when they know better.
When they know better.
So that's why at the First Institute, we are working on, okay, you come around, let's train you, intensive training. Then we go out there also and preach to people so they can understand. Because the way it is now, the way the country is, the way the continent is, for as long as some people continue to have idea that this is how this thing should be, it will continue to be like that. So you can have a good leader, a true leader, coming on board, contending for a position, and they will never win because the people do not agree that this is what the leader
should be like. Yeah.
Do you understand? So that's the issue. And when we talk about building strong institutions are patterns of behaviors. It's not the building. So, for example, now when you talk about the religious institution, what defines this is pattern of behavior, how we act.
Yeah.
So when you talk about political institution, talk about how you act, what we do there. In politics, we don't sell and buy. It's interest. Mm-hmm. But in the economic institution, you sell and buy. That's pattern of behavior. In the religious institution, you don't sell and buy. That's not what it's done there. That's for the economic institution. So that's what it's about. It's about. So when we go to church, and I go to church, even though I can decide that I want to play club music, I will not. Because that is not.
That's not the structure. That's not the pattern.
Do you understand? So now, it is because collectively we agree that in church, this is how we do. Do you understand? So now we are trying to bring that to society and say, let everyone understand what leadership is about. So that together, we can create an environment that is conducive for good leadership to thrive and for national development to occur. That is the idea.
Okay. So what's your role? What's your role at TFI? What do you do?
Well, I'm honored to be serving as deputy director.
Deputy director.
Yes.
So like what's the role of the deputy director? Because from what you've been saying, looks like there's a focus on Nigeria, right? And Africa in diaspora. So but on an average, before I ask you like what do you do? On an average, how many countries so far have you really think that you've touched so far?
Countries. We should have members
Yeah, I think that's my question.
from across upwards of 20 countries in Africa.
In Africa.
Yeah, and then we have members across other continents too.
Yeah.
We have from Russia, we have from Europe.
Okay.
Because don't forget, we are dealing with Africans anywhere you are in the world.
Okay. Yeah.
Because even if you are in diaspora, you still have a role to play.
Yes, you do.
Do you understand? You still have a role to play about. I mean, we have in politics, for example, we have people that are abroad and they are still influencing how people think
Yes.
back home, here in Nigeria, you understand? And so, more than 20 countries in Africa,
More than 20
More than 20
countries in
countries. Then-
Africa.
across 4 continents now.
Wow. So what's like your goal? What's your picture for next 5 years? What are we looking at TFI?
In the next 5 years, that's 2030.
Oh, yes.
In the next 10 years, we're looking at between now and 2035, we're looking at raising 1 million leaders, active leaders, change makers, agents of change. People that understand what leadership is about and are actively working to change the continent. And by 2050, which is 25 years,
Mhm.
we're looking at raising upwards of 10 million. And because the continent of the country is growing, by 2050, Africa's population should be like the youngest. And we have like, we should be contributing to almost 40 to 50% of the entire global workforce at that time. Because we are young.
Yes.
You understand? We are young. So, and we are realizing that we have to start now. So that by that time, we already have people that understand.
What leadership?
You understand? They're already building track record. They're building capability, competence. You understand? To change. And we're not just talking about people that are going to be in politics. We're talking about everywhere you are, anywhere you are on the continent. Whether you're in business, you're having a career, you're in medicine, anywhere you are an agent of change there. That's the idea. So that people stop thinking that I can't be a leader until I join politics. No. There are other things you can do to make this country great, to make the continent great, to make Africa something that the world can be proud about. You understand? Beyond politics. Because the people that get into politics are people that are also in society today.
Yes.
And the president of the nation or the nations of Africa in the next 10, 15 years, some of them are still probably in the university now. You understand? Learning
True,
something.
yes.
So if we cannot, to an extent, influence the idea or ideologies or personalities of people that are there now, then the next thing to do is to target the next generation. So I don't want people just saying things like, oh, we are the leaders of tomorrow and all of that. And then we see them behaving
like yesterday.
because now you have a society where the old is mixing with the new.
Yes.
So we have to come in, do you understand, and break that cycle of, because people that are there now, they have mentors.
Yes.
You understand? And they have mentees.
In the current
Do you understand? And those
generation.
mentees are
Are
already
about to
hanging around the corridors of power.
Exactly.
When they leave, they come in.
With the same ideology.
Exactly. But the people can take power back. But the people have to know what it even means
To have power.
or what your role is. You cannot, I'll put it to you like this. In Nigeria, for example, you cannot vote a good president in and he'll succeed. It's not possible. And the problem is because even the people are not going to agree. Do you understand? Some people feel like, oh, it's too stingy. You're not share money. If you don't share money, you're not. You understand? So until we change the system, that's why, for example, have you ever wondered why it seems like people run for office, they have good ideas and everything, they get in there and they're not
And they
doing
go
anything.
silent.
And then when they come out of office, they start, it's as if they receive their sense back. Because when you get in, you don't know what they are facing. They are facing systems, they are facing culture, they are facing strongholds
that have been there long
and those
ago.
strongholds, they are human beings. You know the spirit.
True.
They are human beings. When you go to the civil service, for example, and then things are not working right, or things are becoming slow, whatever, it's human being that is there. It's not the building that is stopping you. It's the people there that choose to make things hard, to make things slow, to make things tedious. Do you understand? If, for example, the society is going to work, something as small as going to the bank to correct an error on your form can take you like days, weeks maybe.
Yes, I've
Do
been
you
like
understand?
weeks.
Not because it's actually hard. Because you need to know other countries and say it works. But this person does like that. You know what? I
I'm
don't
not
have time to do.
standing from here, and you're not going to force me.
Exactly. Because bring back what I said earlier. A leader, responsibility, and
Yeah,
accountability.
accountability.
Because I don't have power over you, does not mean you should not do your job. So because I'm the son of the poor man now, you won't respond
Hella problem.
or help me. But when somebody that is rich comes around,
You're
you usually
standing.
think can work. Not
Yeah.
because it does not work, but because the people that are there chose not to make it work. So what happens if, for example, everybody is working towards making it work?
Work. Wow.
So all these old anti-corruption drive, I want to put in Nigeria, I'm going to make EFC stronger, I'm going to keep money. That's not the solution. That's just superficial, cosmetic, adjustment. The problem is cultural, it's deep. And the only way to visualize people at this point is through education. I'm surprised that a country like this, we don't have at the secondary school level, at the primary school level, subjects that address some of these things about how people behave. That's why I like Japan. Because I read somewhere that for the first 5 to 6 years of your life as a Japanese child, you're not going to school, you're not having this regular mathematics, English, you're learning values.
Wow.
So for the first 3, 4, 5 years of your life, you're learning the values of society. Japan has contact with the Western world, and they still manage to retain their identity and their cultures.
Yes. I think that's one thing. Yes, sure.
It's culture. It's value system. Do you understand? You build people to understand that this is your part in this system. Your part is making it work. There's a Chinese proverb that says, if everybody is cleaning the front of their yard, very soon the entire street will be neat. So if I sweep the front of my house, you do yours, your next house, the person on my left does the same thing. Very soon the entire place is clear.
Yeah.
But if I dump on the floor,
Another
you
person
dump,
will do
next
that.
person dumps, before you know the entire street is dirty. And
The
you're like,
dumpster.
the street is dirty. Whose fault is it? It's not my fault. It's all of us together. Because even the dirt that I am dropping can flow to your front.
True. Breathe.
And now this is what we're trying to do also. Using the analogy, we're trying to help people understand that you have a role to play. And the reason why we are taking our time to actually go out there and help people understand this thing is because if we fail, if we know it for ourselves, and we apply this knowledge for ourselves, and other people are ignorant, they will make decisions that will harm us. That will, do you understand? So if, for example, I'm dumping things in front of my house, and you're not correcting me, very soon the entire neighborhood will become
Dumpster.
infested by a lot of things.
Yeah.
So we have to go out there and educate people that this is how this thing is supposed to be. This is the true. You have to empower people to make decisions that are correct. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you, vote for this person, vote for that person. But I'm going to teach you to understand and identify.
Yes.
So I feel like it is wrong. Back to your question I asked me earlier about democracy. It is wrong for a democratic system not to have political education that helps people understand how to exercise those rights. Don't just tell me when you're 18, you have the right to vote. You can vote, yes, fine, anybody can vote. But do you know how to vote? How to make a decision? You don't be about this year you collect 5K and bag of rice, and then you sell all our futures for the next 4 years.
Bag of rice is a lot.
That's the thing. It's not their fault.
Yes.
Because they don't understand
know.
how
Yes.
powerful they can be
With
if they
that.
choose to come together. So you cannot be like, there's nothing I can do about it. Let me just collect my 5K and leave. You win whether I like it or not. They understand that kind of stuff. But I don't like when the conversations around leadership always go back to politics every time. Because there are other ways you can affect change in society.
Yes.
You are a student leader, charged with running same application. You collect dues, maybe everything like 2 million. Out of that small 2 million, you still.
1.8.
Do you understand? And at that level, it's already happening. And that's why I think what we do is very important. Going out there to educate people.
It's a mindset.
The mind, the culture.
Yes.
That's why, for example, you see tertiary institutions, for example, you see the way they are I don't want to mention it particular, maybe like the administrative arm of the schools, how they are even attacking student unions, trying to stifle that growth because everybody is so used to the fact that it's power.
Yes, that's to be force.
Do you understand? So I have to show you. I have to
Show you that
there is
I'm bigger than you.
No, people don't want to be accountable. They don't hold accountable. That's why, for example, the average African leader is allergic to any critical review. You must only praise them.
Are
The
we
moment
really
you say,
ready
"Oh,
for
sir,
this conversation
you're not doing
in
this thing
Nigeria?"
right," next thing is
Yeah, you don't like my administration. You are witch hunting me. You are just because I'm saying you're not doing it right.
that's the thing. So it is that accountability part is not there. Being accountable. I voted you in, but you don't be accountable to me. Why? Do you understand? Because leadership, you mentioned earlier on that leadership is about personality changes too. It should bring when you understand leadership, it will change how you behave. Do you understand? How you receive criticisms, how you are able to empathize with people. Why do you read a story of an African leader that tells you that, oh, I was once poor, I was this and that, and then you are expecting that, oh, if you suffered bad leadership when you were growing up, now that you are old enough and you are a leader,
You're supposed to change stuff
exactly. Why are you now repeating the same system?
because they don't know better.
Culture.
Yes, yes.
Culture. I don't want to seem like I'm blaming culture, but culture shapes people. And people shape culture.
Yeah.
So if you go out there,
can
you train
shape.
people, you socialize them, you educate them, gradually.
Rewriting history.
That's why I said what we are doing at the Fort Institute is to raise change makers. So if you have 1 million people that understand leadership, they are expected to influence people around them.
So by
So the ripple
2050,
change.
So by 2050, you mean to say that at least
At least 10 million.
drastically,
At
all
least.
these issues would have reduced a lot.
It should have reduced a lot.
Like if TFI, pushes out and people, join us and all of that, you believe that, a lot of these things would have reduced a lot.
It will. Yes, definitely.
Right.
Because even for our leadership development courses, for example, you have a capstone project. And what happens is that every student that partakes in that leadership development course, you must organize and execute a project that impacts lives. Anywhere you are. It can be as small as donating books, organizing people to raise awareness, sanitation, cleaning the space and whatever, anything. We must do something. Just to help them understand that change does not have to be big. It does not have to be drastic. Do you understand? And you don't necessarily have to have a lot of resources to do something. Everything you are seeing today with the Fort Institute started with a WhatsApp group. Just a WhatsApp group of, oh, I'm trying to create this. I need just 19 people to join me. That's for the founder. And then people were just there having conversations. And from there, it was expanding and expanding and expanding. And now, we've had more than almost 20,000 people that have been trained in 5 years at no cost. Zero cost. Nobody's paying for anything.
Now, sorry, now that you're getting to the point of of cost, I was going to ask, what's your funding? How does, because this is a lot. What's your funding structure like?
But because we understand that Africa is, I don't want to say, a lot of people they have competing priorities when it comes to their finances. What I want to do with my money, and because people don't understand how important it is, they might not want to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
So we make our trainings free. People pay for what they value, but people don't understand how valuable leadership education is because they don't understand how damaging poor leadership is. Do you understand? So we currently all trainings are free.
So how do you pay your facilitators?
Our facilitators are actually volunteers, and most of them are actually past students that have gone through the process.
Whoa!
So they are coming back
Interesting.
to impact, more people.
Interesting.
And that's why I said earlier on that it's going to be a ripple change. 1 million, 10 million people will not change content, but if one person is doing something, I mean, the entire thing with the Fortitude, for example, started with one person, deciding that enough is enough.
Mm-hmm.
And then he built this with the help of people around him. Mm-hmm. So if you have that everywhere, everybody waking up and say, okay, you know what, I'm not going to wait for the president, I'm not going to wait for the governor, I'm going to do something where I have now.
Yes.
Pending when I can do more than what I can do now.
Yes.
So that's the idea. So basically, we make the programs free. The volunteers, they are not paid.
Wow.
So it's basically passion for change And that's what training does. It makes you
It gives you
passionate
assurance.
about, it makes you conscious about the issues. Because sometimes you just feel like people are blind. You can't see. They're not aware.
They don't know.
Do you understand? So we need to raise awareness to the extent that people are passionate about change. They're passionate about every people around them become better, are able to do better. Because leadership also involves personal development. You cannot go through leadership training and not
The
have that
better
drive
person.
for being a better person. Your ability to be a better person now influences your ability to influence other people to want to become better. On and on like that before the entire thing changes. Do you understand? So when you say society is corrupt, it is because a significant number of people in that society are corrupt. It's not Nigeria is the problem. It is people inside it. Do you understand? It's people inside that have issues. And that's why, for example, you see a lot of good people, they avoid politics. They avoid politics and all of that. Do you understand? They avoid politics because they don't want to be stained. But you don't understand that good people can also stain bad people.
True.
It's back and forth. If you can influence good, you can influence evil. One not more powerful than the other.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand?
Yeah. So now, this is a point where, I've heard a lot about it.
Yeah.
But if I want to be a part of the fort, I want to take courses. Where do you think I should go to get a couple of information so that I could?
Okay, so we have, I'll speak to the courses and I'll speak to the both initiative. So for the courses, we have a website, www.thefortinstitute.org. You would find every information you need about the courses we offer, what we are about. Even if you want to partner with us.
Okay.
You understand? You want to partner, like I said earlier on, all the programs are free, but free things are expensive.
Cost money.
They cost something.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So you can also partner with us. You can check us out on the website.
www.
Yes. So if you also want to partake in the course, you apply. I think this year we had more than 1,000 people applying.
Everybody can apply on that website.
Yes, you can join the website. And apply.
Okay, when you go on the website, you can see.
Yes, you see information because we have cohorts. So now one cohort is ongoing.
Yeah.
So you have to wait for the next cohort to join.
Okay.
Understand? So then after you're done with the cohort, you have a community. People are there. You keep on,
Join.
iron sharpening iron kind of thing.
Yes.
So they are there. You have conversations that are inspiring.
Good.
A passion for change. And then for the boat initiative, you can reach out to us if you want to invite us.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and so to come and speak to people in your space. It can be in a community, it can be in a campus, it can be in a department, it can be an organization, it can even be a company. Because like I said, leadership is not just about politics. Even your staff need leadership training.
Sure.
Do you understand? Because I'm tired of people being one particular kind of person in church and then you're another kind of person outside, another kind of person at work. It's not like that. You're either a good person or you're a bad person. You're either a person of integrity or you're not. Mm-hmm. So in church, you are holy. At a place of work, you're a wicked person. Do you understand? And then to your children, you're nice mommy.
That's outside.
And then do you understand? So you have to get to the point where you understand that every living moment of your life is a chance for you to impact lives, to change something.
Okay.
Do you understand? So for the boat initiative, you can reach out. You can come around.
Still on the website.
Yes, on the website.
Okay.
Website.
I was so good having you around, and I hope that you take one or two from this and make an action call. www.TFI
The Fort Institute.
The
Fort Institute.org.
www.thefortinstitute.org.
They can also check us out on social media pages.
Okay.
Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. Yeah, I think that's for now. Yeah. So just check it. The name is the same thing. Just search for the name. You see it there. And just come and be a part of what we're trying to do. The movement. So you can join us and let's just rewrite Africa's story for once. I'm tired of being people are used to complaining. You don't respect black people, you don't value black people.
Maybe that's why I have issues with some particular movies.
Yeah.
Like enough of the victimization.
We have to stop.
Stand up.
Just stop it and stop blaming people and let's just accept that okay, you know what, that our fault.
Yes.
Let's change the system.
Let's move.
I'm not talking about revolution because people have warped idea of what revolution is about. No, not that one. I'm talking about change that is systematic and systemic. and not,
And consistent.
you understand, not just something that just burns and fishes out.
Yes.
That's how it works. You understand? So that's what we're trying to do here, and God helping us. I'm going to write the story of Africa.
It was so good having
In
a
our
conversation with you. It was so nice talking with you.
Yeah, thank you. It's so good having the opportunity to share what we do at the First Institute, and yeah, you've been a good host. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.